Welcome to Future Entertainment. I'm Logan Myers alongside my guests tonight for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view post-show. First, please welcome my broadcast partner from Future Wrestling, the man behind the I'm Telling Ya, Hammers, a.k.a. Well, Scotty Bear's not here tonight, so Hammers, welcome.
Scotty's in Florida. I'm his personal assistant.
Yeah, Hammers. Personal assistant. Welcome, Hammers. Let everybody know what everything about your YouTube, how they can get you on Twitter and all that good stuff, and what you're working on right now.
All right, you could find me on Twitter at Hammers Production or Hammers from Hell. You can try to find me on Facebook and Twitter or Instagram, but you can't because you got them fat asses.
See, that's what I was waiting on. That was the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You could find me on YouTube at KNA Show, where me and Kuzan are doing the 2006 retrospective review of Edge versus John Cena with Backlash on the way. Yeah.
And I've been watching a lot of that recently, and it's some good shit. I'm telling you, it's some good shit.
Good brothers, good shit.
It's a good shit. But secondly, please welcome my best friend, the owner of YouTube's very own underrated Hibiki TMD channel, and the owner of Hibiki Pro, alongside Wild Wayne Bates, Travis, a.k.a. Mark Donovan.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Good to be here again. We haven't done this in a while.
It has been a while, Travis. It has.
It's been a while.
I was pissed off and almost debated just leaving the show when I found out Scotty Bear was here, but I was tickled pink when I found out Hammers would be filling in, so it all worked out.
Oh, my.
Hell yeah.
Oh, my. But, Travis, Hibiki TMD, what are you working on next? And I know we're going to be live streaming tomorrow the remainder of the show for the Hot Gobbler.
The infamous, world-famous Hot Gobbler tournament, the grueling 78-week tournament. 5-day part 2 continues tomorrow with my special guest, you, Logan, so check it out sometime in the afternoon. Don't know when. We'll figure it out. Always something going on, man. So many projects in the future. Got a new Never Drew a Dime in the works, all that stuff. It's more of the same if you're into retro gaming, pro wrestling. As always, hit me up on Hibiki TMD on YouTube, at the Hibiki TMD on Twitter. And thanks, man, again for having me.
Of course, and Hibiki Pro will be coming back soon enough. Can't wait for that. Wild Wayne Bates is getting a little wild, waiting for it.
Sooner than later, it's coming back.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view post-show. And let's get it started with the kickoff for what we saw was the Intercontinental Championship on the line. Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. And guys, I'm going to let you guys start it off.
Jesus, what happened to the Intercontinental title since I left?
Can we do it real quick? I've seen the debate for some reason this pay-per-view more than ever, and I actually retweeted out, and I see the point where a lot of guys come out in interviews, like Tony Nese said, you know what, I don't mind being on the pre-show because the company looks to you to get that crowd on their feet and blah, blah, blah. And like Jim Cornette says, you're still part of the fucking show.
Exactly.
Is it bad? Is it good? It's I don't know, man. If any two guys can get that fresh crowd on their goddamn feet and ready for a pay-per-view, it was these two guys. I see that. Do they deserve better? Obviously.
Oh,
you guys think?
What do you think, Hammers?
Again, what the hell happened to the Intercontinental title when I left? Originally it was on the main show. Now it's on the pre-show. Did I miss something from a while ago? That just
it was second to last match at WrestleMania this year, actually.
Yeah, and now it's here. What did I miss?
It's like me too, we were talking off air, because of work and shit. There's no way I can watch all WWE programming. I don't even bother to attempt it. But when the fuck did Shinsuke Nakamura come back? Did I miss something? Because I didn't even know he came back. So there you go.
Yeah, my dude Shinsuke all up in here, pulling out some stuff from 2007 and shit. And I'm like, what?
Yes, I'm glad he left his cell at home because it's nice to see him not fucking phone it in for once. He looked like Shinsuke Nakamura out there, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Like, this match was great. But why on the pre-show? Like, you have this before the winner-take-all match. Like, that's where that should have been. And have, what is it? The six-man SmackDown tag champs on the pre-show, because that would have been a great opening, like, rile fest for people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you on that.
Hell, I could have, honestly, especially considering the outcome, and I know people are happy for the New Day, I could have gone with that match being on the pre-show, even though Daniel Bryan's in it. I mean, he's a tag guy right now, and they're doing nothing with him anyway.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. I mean, it happened. What did you think of it being on the pre-show, Logan?
Well, this is where the part where I'm bringing back my fired up segment.
Oh, Jesus God, what have I even done?
You bring out the animal, you get the horns, bruh.
Yeah, because
You poke on Batista and you get the beast.
Yeah.
Yep, because I'm fired up. Listen, these two competitors shouldn't ever, and I mean ever, be considered for a kickoff show. That's just my personal opinion. This is a SummerSlam WrestleMania main event style feud match, even if how relegated Shinsuke Nakamura has been. It's complete bullshit that the Intercontinental Championship relegated to the kickoff show. Like you guys said, WrestleMania, it was second to the last on WrestleMania. So, look at what happened 6 months later. It's for the kickoff, I get it. It's if you think about it, like you said, Travis, earlier, it's not so bad that there's wrestling on the kickoff show. It's just, it's for the title that's the Intercontinental Champion that should be more prestigious and more viewed as a championship that could elevate other talent to, like, the WWE Championship, right?
Yeah.
Instead, it's
the workhorse title. That was in the 90s and the early 2000s. That was always like the grooming title, getting you ready for the big one.
Yes, and I feel like that should be what it should be, and it's not. And instead, it's been defended 3 times in the last 5 months since WrestleMania. And Shinsuke Nakamura did need to get more confidence. He needed the momentum, and he needed to get back to himself. And I'm not against him winning, but I'm also just don't understand why Finn Balor got this short of a reign. You know what I mean? If Finn Balor can't win these matches, I'm not gonna. A lot of people aren't gonna think that the Demon is going to be relevant enough to continue that winning streak as well. That's just my preference. For me, I, for one, am fucking glad Finn Balor's out of the IC title picture. That's a fucking top guy. That's back. It reminds me of like when the 2-man power trip, when Triple H was a top guy for a year, then all of a sudden he was an IC title guy again. It made no sense, and I feel like it took away from the character in a way. Yeah, I agree with you on that, but for me, you don't go back. You don't go in reverse. I mean, maybe it's me. I don't know. I get that point. I mean, I think Finn Balor deserves to be in the WWE Championship title scene on SmackDown Live. I agree with you on that spot, but I also like the fact that he won the IC title, and then it could bounce him up to the WWE Championship like it should be. But for Shinsuke, he's been knocked down that ladder of relevancy for the last 6 months, and really, it dates back since he, that piss-poor flop feud with AJ Styles, and I'll say that. And I just said this, cheap plug by the way, to Union Smack on our State of the WWE address when they announced Heyman and Bischoff, in their new roles. I said, I think there's much bigger things on the horizon if these guys are in Vince's ear a lot more. For Balor than there probably would have been without Heyman in his ears, because Heyman on so many interviews praises Finn Balor up and down. He's a legit huge Finn Balor fan. So I feel like this was a 2 birds with 1 stone for me. In a way that I feel like this is going to elevate Balor to something better, and it gave Shinsuke something to do. So
it's whatever. I can't be mad at the finish, and the match was like you said, Hammers. It was good. It was a good match.
It was good, but stop booking the pre-show style matches for talent who, to me, don't deserve that kind of treatment and that kind of bullshit. Hell, even the Cruiserweight Championship, which we'll get into in a few minutes, it deserves more than the fucking kickoff show, in my opinion, because of how good it is. And like you said, Daniel Bryan's the Triple Threat Tag Team match could have been on the kickoff, and it would have been okay. But I also don't like the fact that I don't like seeing championship matches on a kickoff show, to be honest with you. That's just that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
But to me, I'll say this, and we've said this before, Travis. 205 Live in the Cruiserweight division, they deserve more, because let's just say that they're fantastic matches. They're always underrated for any WWE pay-per-view or show. But as we're going to talk into the Cruiserweight division, we might as well go over to the Cruiserweight Championship match that was on the kickoff show as well. Let you guys go.
I didn't watch the Evolve 13-1 or whatever, 131.
I still need to watch it.
Yeah.
I watched some.
Okay. Did Drew lose there?
Yes, he did lose.
Okay. I can now see why he needed this win tonight. It was an awesome match. I loved Drew Gulak ever since watching him feud with Timothy Thatcher in Evolve, and watching him wrestle in Jakara as well with the Gentleman's Club. It's always been great to see what Drew Gulak comes up with next in wrestling, and his finisher they came up with, the spinning, what did they call it? The Cyclone Disaster?
Yeah,
is that what it's
something
called?
like that. Yeah.
That's always looked. That move always looked really, really cool. And now that Drew Gulak has it, it's even better. But yeah, I love this Cruiserweight match. Good for both guys. Be interesting to see who comes up next. Hopefully, we don't have another Enzo Amore curse upon us.
He's too busy being a douche at concerts.
With Joey Janela.
God, that was pathetic. Jesus Christ. You know what? I'll devil's advocate this being on the pre-show more. I feel like this is a perfect title, a perfect talent. Cruiserweight should always be in the position to get the crowd ready for the night, a fresh-ass crowd. Because you know what? It worked for WCW when they booked it right. And if these guys had better stories, it would be working, and would have been working better for the past 2 years putting these guys on the pre-show. But the problem is, obviously, they didn't have good stories. So nobody gave a shit. Drew, I totally 100% agree with you. Drew Gulak, man, he's my main man. He's, dare I say, like a Dean Malenko of this generation type. He is a throwback, and that's why I appreciate his work style so much. He's a less is more guy, but he's so innovative at the same time. He's this weird hybrid thing, and that's what Dean Malenko was in the 90s. He was this hybrid fucking worker, and very innovative. Couldn't agree more with what you said. And I've been praising it up and down the past 2 months on my channel. That submission match with Kushida on NXT, for people that still haven't seen it, see it. This was a good match too, by the way.
It was. For me, Drew Gulak retaining the Cruiserweight Championship was great. I've always said this, and actually, like I said, we always said this, 205 Live deserves better, especially for the quality matches that these guys put on. But 205 Live, what really kills them is about to be canceled. And I'm shocked that they don't add the Cruiserweight Championship to NXT tapings. It'd be smart.
It's a good thing for them. They will filter out the best guys from 205 Live, and they'll get more exposure. It sucks for the guys that aren't probably get released or demoted, but it's life, I guess.
That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say.
Yeah, that's what all the cruiserweights say. That's life.
Well, like I said, I'm shocked that they don't do it. Tony Nese has been very good, and I could very well see a bigger talent like him leave the cruiserweight division. You know, and let's be real, Drew Gulak, he's probably one of the most underrated talents, and not just 205 Live, but he's underrated in the company altogether. I would love to see Drew Gulak be positioned in NXT in a bigger feud, a bigger stage, a bigger championship. I could even see, you know, him in the Intercontinental Championship match or feud, or even the United States. You know, I could see Paul Heyman being a Drew Gulak fan in the future. Even Eric Bischoff could be a fan of Drew Gulak's. But, again, what a match. And I think the kickoff show had some decent matches.
Yeah. And on Tony Nese real quick, I think he's good talent, but he's so miscast as a babyface. Doesn't work for me.
True. But let's go on to the main card if everyone's done with that match.
Yeah.
Wiping our hands clean of it.
So we had 2 matches on the kickoff show, and then I did not realize that we have 10 matches scheduled for the main card, so bear with us.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is looking at the stream right now, I hope you guys are really enjoying my pictures.
The fuck was that?
Are you watching the stream, Travis? Are you seeing this?
No, your sentence. That was your sentence that made me laugh. Go.
Yeah.
I hope they're enjoying the long-haired Batista.
That was the joke! No, sorry.
But let's start off the night with the first match of the night, which was the tag team match, no holds barred. Roman Reigns and Undertaker versus Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon. Travis, what did you think?
This was, come the fuck at me, this was exactly where you book this on the show, how you book The Undertaker. This is exactly what you fucking do. The wrong guy didn't get pinned. The unbearable heel for the past couple months got his comeuppance. Undertaker got his shit in. It was less is more. There was one little botch, and that was kind of that could have happened to anybody because of how hard Roman whipped Shane and the Taker for the tombstone.
Yes.
I think, we can all agree.
yeah.
That was just a freak thing. I feel like I think Roman was a little marky out there tagging with Taker. He's a little excited, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
He seemed like he was a kid on Christmas morning, you know.
But the last thing when I was like, yeah, let's do a show tomorrow. The last thing I thought I'd say on this show was, I was fine and I liked this match.
I agree. Hammers, I'm going to let you go next.
I thought it was different to have Undertaker in the opening, but I thought it was great. It was so good to have him out there because it was an easy watch. He got done early. He could go home. He can rest up. He could do whatever the hell he wanted to do. It's all good with him. It just seemed really quick. It didn't feel like. I mean, do you guys kind of get it? It felt like quick a little bit. Like,
I think it timed out match wise and length wise about the same as most like that kind of main event, Dream Tag would be. I think the thing is we weren't watching this after 3.5 hours of wrestling, so it felt like it flew by a little bit longer.
Yeah, I would almost equate it to TakeOver New York of this year, the opening match with War Raiders and Ricochet and Aleister Black. It felt like it was just going like fast paced, like 100 miles per hour, but it wasn't. Yeah, it just kind of felt that way. Like, wow, this is just really like.
And with those NXTs, I feel like so many takeovers have opened with tag title matches that kicked fucking ass, that were flawless, like clinics with a hot crowd. Had those come after other matches on those takeovers, maybe not so much. And that's what we're saying with like the booking of Taker here. That's why it was smart, 100% where you should have put him. I feel like, or at least maybe the second match, really early.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
No, don't do it every fucking time.
I agree.
If you keep doing that for the rest of his career, that takes a little bit of the sizzle and the luster off of that, that main. I know he's untouchable for life. He's never going to be buried in his career. No pun intended. Yeah.
Wow.
Rocky just tweeted out Batista's picture on the Extreme Rules post show is very distracting, he says. Hammers, anything else?
It felt really quick. It was great to have it as an opening.
Yeah.
So
I think all three of us can agree to. We're all ready for that boy Drew to get that big push.
Yes,
it's time.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's beyond time.
For me, coming into this match, and I think the only thing that was on the back of my mind was Undertaker and Goldberg. And how big of a flop it was, unfortunately. It was directly in front of my mind, but it was laying in the back of my mind. It wasn't in the front, it was in the back. Which Undertaker would we get? Will Roman Reigns have to carry Undertaker throughout the match? And the answers actually got answered for us. It didn't. He didn't. Roman Reigns didn't have to carry Undertaker.
They actually worked really well as a team.
Yes.
They had chemistry, I felt like. Which I didn't ever saw coming either.
Yeah. There was another question that popped in my head during the match or before the match even took place was, are we going to get the predictable maneuvers from the dead man? And we got some, and then we got some that, we haven't really seen much of for a long time. But all in all, I will say Drew McIntyre needs more of this. But he also needs more than this, if you get what I mean.
I know what Undertaker we got by the end of all this, then we'll move on to the next match. Okay. At the very end, after the Undertaker was celebrating and posing, when the lights came on and he was still staying in the ring, that salty fucking look he was giving that crowd, like, yeah, say something, motherfuckers. And I know you guys noticed it. God, that was just tremendous. Because with Just Do, shit, you're talking about last month of Goldberg. How about the last 3.5 years of piss poor performances, where every time you're out there, you worry about a human being's health?
Besides the Rusev match from Saudi Arabia, that was a decent match. I know a lot of people didn't watch it, but I did. And this match tonight kind of rang that same bell, because Undertaker didn't have to do too much, and, it was a quick match, but it also really helped Rusev out too in the long run. So that's how I feel. But also, let's take a minute for the expectations for this Raw reunion coming up in 2 weeks. My expectations, I don't have any. Not after Raw 25. There we go.
I'm just tuning in for Nash.
Me too.
Let's
see what Nash does, if he even shows up.
As little as possible, and that's why we love him. Make that money, Kevin.
Unless he gets in tries to get in the ring and tears a quad. But on to the second match.
How dare you? How dare you?
Raw Tag Team Champions, The Revival versus the Usos.
You know what? This is a solid match. These teams deserve better. For a Philadelphia crowd early in the show after Undertaker, man, that burnt them out, because it took them a couple matches to get back into it. They were dead for this.
They were dead for this until the Revival really kind of got them going a little bit. I noticed that too. The crowd was chanting the Revival sucks really, really loudly.
Wrestling WWE especially is in a weird place for me right now, with like this AEW shit going on and all these shiny new contracts and guys signing money left and right, and AEW doing nothing but make WWE guys fucking richer. Mm-hmm. So I would be thanking AEW till Kingdom Come if I was a WWE talent right now, because Christ, to see the Revival a year ago, they just beat the fucking Usos clean, who have probably been the most dominant team in that company besides the New Day in so long. They just beat them clean like it was nothing tonight. And who knows? We're gonna see if and I'm happy for guys like the Club who are feeding their families and signing these lucrative deals, but we're gonna see if their money where their mouth is. It's shiny and new right now, like I say, but 6 months from now, where are they gonna be positioned at? That's the test. That's where
that's the question. Now, Hammers, do you have an answer for that?
New generation all over again. That's the only thing I could think of is just like we're experiencing a newer form of the new generation.
Do you think they're gonna renege on the revival like Vince did to Brett back in the day? Like, sorry, I can't afford you now. Why don't you go ahead and go to WCW?
I mean, it's possible, but I mean, we're right now in. It just seems like almost history repeating itself a little bit.
It really is.
Like we have now competition again, and it is
viable.
Well, it is a testing right now. I would call this testing right now because we do not know how well they will do TV wise, but we're right now seeing the testing phases of AEW. And when they get their TV deal...
If they're smart, they have to go into their TV with... They have to expect a dip in the first 6 months. Viewership's going to drop for a little bit, and they can't freak the fuck out. Because when you see it every week, it takes a lot of, luster off shit, like I was saying earlier. That's the real test. That's exactly right. And I think there is going to be a dip in viewership, but I think it's going to... I don't think it's going to shit the bed like TNA did in 2010. I think it's going to be an up and down thing. I don't think they're going to have steady numbers at first at all.
No, I think we're going to see kind of like what WCW did back in like '95. It was kind of a low point. Everything just kind of seeped down into the sand a little bit, and it's not looking great so far. But I think when it's all settled down a little bit more, then we're going to see a rise in competition between the two. And with that competition coming up, I think we're going to see some great wrestling action in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
When that will happen, I don't know. But I'm predicting that when the seeds are planted and everything looks a little tarnished, we're going to see this uprise in wrestling again. So right now we're stuck in the new generation in a comparison way. This isn't a new generation. I don't think so, but we're stuck in a new generation like problem. And then when it comes up, we're going to hit possibly another Attitude Era. Mm-hmm. And it's going to happen, I would say, within the next 5 or 4 years when that Attitude Era hits.
And do you think, Hammers, as a follow-up question, just like in '96, all it's going to take is one reality, bending the lines of reality, red-hot angle to shift gears in the momentum, like it did with WCW winning the war for a while with the NWO angle at first?
No, it's not going to be that.
What do you think it's going to take? Just being more edgy and not so stiff and robotic feeling? What do you...
It's going to be the return to old school wrestling, and I think Cody has the ability to do that. I mean, God damn it, he's the son of one of the best bookers in the business, and it's only going to take just that few tiny little steps to bring in a shift of old school, old-fashioned wrestling that hasn't been seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
Stories that make sense, viable thoughts and processes.
Characters with fucking backstories and just reasons we should give a shit about them, maybe.
Yes. I mean, that's what's happening right now with AEW.
Private Party. There was a tremendous thing on Private Party for Fyter Fest pre-show or something I saw.
Yes. Also with Brandy as well. Had an amazing backstory. I mean, sure, they turned her heel immediately at Fight for the Fallen, but there was still a story you could get interested in. Yes, exactly. You didn't see it coming. But
my biggest complaint with AEW, I think what the biggest thing they're doing wrong with it right now, it's okay to do that shit, especially when you're brand new, to get people's heads starting to get them talking, okay? They need to stop sucking their own dicks immediately after these pay-per-views. Enough is enough for a while. We get it. But it's going to come off like WWE is in your fucking head. You can't live without, riding their fucking code. You need to stop that shit completely. because that's what ultimately killed WCW and TNA's fucking momentum. That's exactly what did it. Or anyone that's ever tried to do that against WWE, it killed them all. It was like a cancer that ate itself from the inside out. The more you do that shit, it makes you look Bush League.
Yeah, but
you're right.
Yeah, other than that, all I'm really worried about is what will come next. What will WWE do to try to offset the AEW? Because WWE hasn't really, I mean, besides making a few comments about them,
honestly, I think
hasn't really
people are so starved in this era for good wrestling. Honestly, in this era, I just think it'll be a couple big names that'll do it. You don't even need an angle at this point because people were so fed up with mediocre shit. Mm-hmm. I think as bad as 95 was, how many times am I joking around saying it? I prefer 95 over this shit. Well, I'm actually not joking because sometimes I would. Give me Savio Vega, please.
Yes, and shout out to Kuzan in the chat. He says, "Hey everyone, new era, new Cox Fist. All I want to see is more jackknives."
Hashtag fuck Kota Ibushi. What's up, Kuzan?
But I agree with you, and like Hammer said with the whole old school wrestling, that's what I got in this tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Champions. It was fast paced, it was hard hitting, and it was a true tag team match. The Revival should be booked this damn way. Top guys deserve the top spot on the card and in the division. And this is what fans want. They want two great tag teams putting it all out on the line for the tag team champions, and that's what they did tonight, and it was well deserved. I hope the Revival do indeed re-sign with WWE, and they don't leave whenever their contracts are up and just go to AEW, and they could be booked the same way they are right now, to be honest with you, because there's so much talent in AEW too.
There's so many fucking tag teams in AEW, by the way. Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's insane. But I think they'll the trickiest part about that is going to be figuring out good ways of displaying all of their tag teams. Mm-hmm. I think that might be the one thing that WWE may have over AEW is that the amount of tag teams that AEW has it's quite a big number, but it can be useful for them in the future, I would say.
Just give all else to Luchasaurus and fucking be done with it, in my book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so underrated. But I know we're all going to agree on this one when I say it. The ball's in WWE's hand to undo the mistakes that they've made with the Revival. And save themselves from losing a top tag team to their competition. Plain and simple.
Just brainbusters them. Make them chicken shit heels that can get the job done, but they rely on dirty tactics more to get the job done. But they can, they still don't look like pussies, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially the fact that I've noticed this week after week during tag team matches. Remember back in the old days where the referee would turn his back and he didn't see the tag and he would make them get out of the ring? You don't see that nowadays. You don't see that all the time. And we saw this tonight in that match. I don't.
I watch a lot of fucking Progress and shit lately, man. There's a lot of old school WWE stuff. Yeah.
You never see, like, back in the old days, stuff like that, or cheating when the referee's looking away. And the Revival just bring that old school style, and it's really entertaining, and that's what we need to get back to.
Hopefully it does, because as like I was saying, on the indies, it's getting back to that. So,
Yep. And Kuzan says, Kota is a beautiful man. Look at that waist. That's what he
says. he has permanent Bret Hart mouth. It's always hanging open, catching flies.
But on to the match number 3. We need to get this going because still a lot of matches to go through. Aleister Black, Cesaro, and Aleister Black wins with the Black Mass.
Give me a spoon, light it up, inject it into my veins. I want more of this. This was maybe my match of the night. I just wish it would have got a little more time.
Mine too. I agree, totally.
How do I best say this? Does anybody remember the first time we saw Aleister Black on television?
And the first UK tournament as Tommy End?
No. As Aleister Black, not Tommy End.
Like no, it probably was a vignette or something.
He's been.
He didn't wear fucking Luchasaurus's one left boot and have a Assassin's Creed weird Maria Kanellis hood. I know that.
He's been having the promos and all that for somebody to knock on his door because he wants a fight. That's all that's been going on for the last month.
I hate when they make guys add to their look that were fine. Like, God, I hate that. Like, stop it. He's not an accessory. Just leave him alone.
Well, here's why I bring that up. Originally, Aleister Black came at NXT TakeOver Orlando during his match with Cien Almas, who was floundering at this time before he was NXT champion. This was supposed to be that match for him back then. This match that we saw tonight should have been the match that we saw him having at that time. So for us to be introduced to this kind of almost psychopathic Aleister Black, I think that tonight was a great showing by him. And to his credit as well, I mean, Cesaro's fucking awesome all the time.
Yes.
So you can't deny this boy here any more time. I mean, you need to give Cesaro. I think you should give him. I think it's time to pull the trigger.
Give him Antonio back, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, give him back to Antonio, and pull that goddamn trigger and give him the big one. I think it's time to give him a shot at the big one.
I heard we got Scotty Bear via satellite from Orlando, Florida, real quick. What's going on, Scotty? What do you think about this? Cesaro should get a push again here?
Give him it. Give him the big one. Give him the big boy. Give him that Brock Lesnar. He wouldn't do shit in Japan. But give him the title.
It's always good to hear you, Scotty.
You heard it here first. Breaking news, Logan, on your show.
Damn, Scotty Bear with the hardcore extreme touches and opinions. Look at that.
I miss these mid-card matches without a title that don't. I just miss these old-fashioned fucking grudge matches that you actually look forward to, and there wasn't really a whole lot to get invested in for this, but that I kind of think that's why I like it so much, because it didn't need a lot. It was simply months of, all right, we get it, and they didn't do it too long. They didn't like Emelina, where it took forever with these Aleister Black challenges. It lasted about a month, and finally, Cesaro answered. I think that was about the good timing. So now, hopefully, that's over with. But yeah, this was fine. This was beyond fine. This was must see. And that spot, we all know the spot where he caught Black, the double knees, and then the uppercut. Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before I say what I'm gonna say, Kuzan says Tyler Breeze made me think of something WWE needs to do. They need to get rid of some people because there are so many people hired. It happens all the time in NXT. I agree and disagree.
It's intentional.
It definitely is, but I also see a lot of talent relegating back down to NXT. Well, not really relegating. I see them moving back to NXT, and I see a lot of guys moving to NXT UK, like Alexander Wolf. I mean, they're gonna find.
He already has. He's in Imperium.
Yeah.
He's already come back, and he's with Walter in his stable now.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen those guys move to the different brands, and I think there's plenty of brands right now for everybody to find a comfortable position.
I think, and I mean, there it is. There's the master plan, Kuzan. I've been saying this shit for years. NXT is the super indie, man. This is the grand scheme. It's premeditated. They know what they're doing. It's purposely oversaturated and just,
Yeah, I agree. But before I talk about the match itself, I want to say when I found out Cesaro knocked at his door, I believe this could have stole the show on multiple levels. WWE made the right call, putting these two against each other. The possibilities of putting two different styles together could eventually be a show stealer, and it was. Power of Cesaro versus the kicking machine of Aleister Black. And I like this because I made this on my notes. Superman versus Darkness, and we got something truly special between these two in the match. I was very intrigued from start to finish. This match proves that Aleister Black and Cesaro are great. Cesaro is so underrated in wrestling, in any wrestling ring, guaranteed. And I put in all quotation marks and in all caps. This match for Aleister Black was the very first main roster match that made me feel like he was back in NXT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't argue with that.
And I'm glad that I'm glad of that as well, because the Aleister Black we got with Ricochet as a tag team it was okay, but it isn't Aleister Black, and it isn't his character to be a tag team.
In my head, I envision backstage as Aleister Black being that guy for Triple H, where that's finally the guy that makes like Hunter like slam his fist on the table, like, "No, Dad, you're not fucking with this one." Like he just sticks to his guns to not ruin Aleister Black so much. And I don't think they're going to ruin him. I think they kind of know what they have. I feel like, and I know people are probably scoffing and laughing at that, but I mean, I don't know.
I agree with you on that too, because of the fact that Aleister Black is a unique character, and if you make him Bray Wyatt 2.0 from, years ago, then we definitely have a problem, because Aleister Black would be so easily booked in the right feuds, the right storylines, and the right character that he has, that if you fail with Aleister Black, then you're going to fail with a lot of talent.
Apparently that's the rumored feud too. Is Wyatt and Aleister Black next? I think it's too soon for that. I think you feed a couple more guys to Black. You do it in a couple months. Like you don't wait like 2 years to do it. But
what I've been hearing was the rumors going around was at SummerSlam Aleister Black and Randy Orton, but I don't know if that's going to be guaranteed right now, because as of what I was reading is Randy Orton needs neck surgery.
You know what? That would have been a good booking plan too. I think that's definitely a credible guy to get a win over, and he still can go enough to give a pretty decent match with Black. I wouldn't have hated that match, to be honest.
And Orton probably could have really sold the Black Mass pretty well as well.
I tell you what, I'm amazed none of us talked about how Cesaro sold that. Is he okay? Was that a work? Because holy shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised his mouthpiece didn't fly out, because if that would have happened, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have just been like, holy shit.
Why did it take me? How long has Cesaro had braces, by the way? Well, why is it taking me this goddamn long to notice that? I never noticed that.
He had to get braces when he had the teeth surgery or whatever.
That was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he's actually had it for like a year now, I think.
What the fuck is wrong with me? How do I not notice that on a grown-ass man?
'Cause he got high, 'cause he got high, 'cause he got high.
I don't do that. I don't force that. That's all Logan Myers.
But moving on to the fifth out of 10th match. Last man standing, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. I almost said Braun.
Fucking amazing. For 15, 20 minutes, it felt like 1999 again, legit. Holy shit, where did this come from? I was dreading this match, but man, I'm glad I watched it.
Well, whenever I heard this match was made official, I was super hyped about this, because I think the booking of this feud has been great. For the feud that could have been the last thought of this pay-per-view, actually became one of the main matches and feuds that actually kept my interest from start to finish. I mean, from
these two matches right here are my two matches of the night.
Yeah, I agree with you. And from start to finish in recent weeks, kudos to both men and creative for finding a reason for us to actually want to watch this match. Good job, WWE. You did something right for once, but from the spear through the the Titantron to what we saw tonight. Holy shit! Maybe the rumors of what I've been reading for Braun Strowman going back to his monster among men, being a monster again is coming true.
Logan, there's always two things that I ask in my professional wrestling, and I never raise the bar high. It's not enough. You know what those are? It's logic and just fucking being as advertised. And this was exactly as advertised, as it should be in your head. If like in your head, you hear this match, fantasy booked, you picture what it would look like. It delivered for me. That's all I ask.
Yeah. And before I let Hammers go, Colonel Fancy is in the chat. Burn retinas. He says,
"I'm Colonel Fancy. It's our man, Colonel."
Yeah, Colonel Sanders. I'm just kidding. I'm just now learning about Cesaro as well. I guess he was talking about the braces.
Hammers has to go.
Hmm?
Did you say Hammers has to? Before I let Hammers go.
Go with the What did I say?
Okay. I'm an idiot.
Calm down there, Vicky.
I'm sorry, Logan. I misunderstood you. I thought he had to leave.
No, I was gonna let him say what he was gonna say about the Lashley match.
This was my match of the night.
There you go.
I couldn't see fault. Well, I could see fault in maybe one thing, but other than that, there was nothing wrong with this.
Nope.
Everything was clean. Everything seemed like perfect. There wasn't really a bad spot. Well, maybe once or twice, but other than that, there was not really a bad spot during this match. It just felt right. It felt good to have, and there's nothing bad to say about it. It's again, this was my match of the night for sure.
And the battle of the horses.
When they were backstage, Hammers, I did have a question for you. When he suplexed Bobby Lashley into the wall, did you notice that the wall actually and then when Lashley landed, he landed right on his head, and actually went the wall actually caved in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because how they build him up is just this. Is just these cardboard, very thick cardboard, but they just kind of stand up there, and either that or they'll have metal grates. But I'm guessing since they were doing the spot, they went with the more conventional option of going with the thick cardboard.
Well, Bobby Lashley has so many fucking back muscles. By the way, it looks like a mountain of eyeballs.
I know, and to be honest, when they were at that location again. I swear to God, I was like, "Oh my God, they're gonna go through a window over there." That's what I thought.
If they capitalize with something more for Braun to do that doesn't make him look like a putz tomorrow, this match right here, point blank, could be a rebirth for that character because that visual of him busting through the wall was fucking tremendous.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It showcased.
And the crowd ate that shit up like a fat kid with ice cream, just nom 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 nom.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I was vaping instead of ice cream.
You went through 2 tanks when you came out of the wall of the vape tanks.
I had to vape 10 times in a row.
You probably should go to the hospital after this, Logan. By the way, that picture of Batista, he looks like pictures of Yokozuna backstage after a match, but if he lost all the weight, like when Yoko would take his hair down just sitting backstage.
I did say he looks like a wild Samoan.
Yeah. And he was trained by him, so that's fucking weird.
And he has my dad's mustache, literally.
Yeah. Match 6. We're just checking them off.
Yep.
I don't think, you know what? I didn't have one problem, honestly, with that match. There wasn't one flaw to that booking or any of the way. I mean, maybe that little slip up when Lashley hopped the goddamn barrier, but Jesus Christ, give him a break, you know?
No, I mean, you know how, sweaty and all that when he jumped over that barricade, everything's not going to be perfect, right?
Colonel Fancy says, just make Strowman a fire-breathing dragon and you got money. I can't argue that. Dragons are money.
I can't disagree with that either.
Game of Thrones made a ton of money.
It's pretty good that we're actually agreeing on this whole entire fucking pay-per-view, by the way.
That could change.
It could be. Could. But
it'll change. It will change.
But moving forward, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions was on the line. Triple Threat Tag Team, Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery versus The New Day. Who wants to go first?
It's really hard to take your eyes off Otis Dozovich. He just jumps off the screen.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
So entertaining. He doesn't stop.
He is a better version of Big Cass.
This one, I like the Stomping Grounds one way more than this one, honestly.
This is where we disagree. I actually like this one a hell of a lot more. Especially with the way Big E came unglued towards the end.
I love everything Big E does. He could take a shit and we could watch that and then probably be entertaining as hell.
I mean, did you guys notice when he went unglued towards the end of the match where he was just doing everything in his power to win the champions?
Yep.
The belts, yeah. That was great spot by him for sure. Kind of almost I'm trying to remember, like when the bar was like originally starting up with Cesaro and Sheamus, and Cesaro did that like crazy spot where he like hit everybody with either like a stomp or like a uppercut of some sort.
Yep, I remember that spot too.
Yeah, it was just like that.
And
it's coming. That serious Big E heel turn push is coming someday. I'm telling you.
I agree with you on that. Big E, when he went unglued, I legit was like, man, this guy could be a star, and they need to capitalize on it soon. Because
you know how I'd book it too? I don't think they make him turn on the New Day. I think they make him turn on somebody else, and the New Day's like, man, that's fucked up. Blah blah blah, and they just kind of part ways. So I think they'll always, because that way they can have their nostalgia excuse if there's ever a Raw reunion or some bullshit like that to get the New Day back. I think. No, everyone's expecting him to turn on the New Day too. Just have him turn on like fucking Rollins or somebody. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Rocky just tweeted, "I will buy Logan Myers ice cream if he takes that Batista pick down."
Why doesn't he put? I even retweeted him a little bit ago. Why don't you just put this stuff in the chat, Rock? It's all right. Come on in.
Yeah, come in and post it on the chat so I don't have to flip back and forth to Twitter.
We'll figure this thing out together, man. It's all good.
Yes, comment on here. But
we love Rocky. We really do.
Love Rocky. He's the conversations do not end, and I don't want them to end.
How do you feel about this putting it back on the New Day, Hammer? 6 times.
It's an interesting call. I would have put the belts on Heavy Machinery personally, but New Day getting the belts, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, if you're going to build up to maybe like the downfall of the New Day, giving them all the belts is not the worst idea in the world.
It's good it's a damn good visual. I feel like now it's like their dynasty picture. That's what we needed. There's your money shot, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I mean, go ahead and Hammers if you got anything else.
Again, I thought this would have been better on the pre-show, but still, it's a good match. I very much liked it. So
I did too. It was a great triple threat tag team match. And one thing that I do want to point out though is Daniel Bryan and Rowan haven't been a horrible tag team.
No, absolutely.
Rowan is underrated too, especially with his power and what he's capable of. They haven't really defended as much as I'd like to see them defend the champions and then lose it like this. To be honest with you, they haven't really defended much. Maybe once or twice since they won them. So it's a little upsetting. I mean, they still have defended the tag team champions for SmackDown more than the women's tag team champions since WrestleMania. So let's that sink in. Let that sink in. For me, this is where I'm going to disagree with you, Hammers. Professionally, nothing against you. Heavy Machinery has a huge opportunity to become the future, but it's way too soon for them to capture gold just yet. I want to see more of them. I want to see them build up a little bit more. I like what they're doing now because I think the fan base is getting, behind them. I see why they didn't pull the trigger at Stomping Grounds because it was Daniel Bryan's. The fans would have turned on Heavy Machinery last month.
Been an awful way to win the belts.
Yeah, it would have. I think this would have probably, if people wanted Heavy Machinery to win, I think it would have been in this match. Personally.
My heart said Machinery, but my head said New Day because of exactly what Hammer said about that visual and that Dynasty picture of all the belts.
Yep, you're totally right. Nothing. You can't disagree with that. I mean, it's the perfect send-off for New Day as well, in my opinion, if it does turn out to be after the fact of losing all the titles after they won them.
I also feel like a year from now, Daniel Bryan will be babyface Daniel Bryan again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Bryan has been okay as a heel, but it's just...
They're going to need him eventually.
They're going to need him, and there's really no end game for Daniel Bryan being heel. There really isn't. When he first became heel, I was like, oh man, this is going to be something way different. And Daniel Bryan as a heel WWE champion or Universal champion, I know he was WWE champion, lost to Kofi, but that reign it did nothing for me personally.
Can we intermission this real quick? Take a break off reviews. Did I miss something? Maybe I used the bathroom. Was there any Kevin Owens on the show tonight?
Yes.
Was there?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Because I missed it then, totally.
Yeah. We'll get there.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
I missed a solid about 35 minutes of the show tonight due to family stuff, so that one I won't be able to comment on.
What?
Well, you'll be shocked.
United States champion. After the United States champion, we'll tell you exactly what happened, Travis. I mean, it was probably the longest match on the card. So, United States Championship, Ricochet defending against AJ Styles with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson at ringside.
Didn't feel as special. I don't know what it was.
Oh, I know what it was. And I told Hammers before the pay-per-view, didn't I?
I saw your tweet about it, too. You were pissed off.
I was almost fired up earlier with this. I'll tell you why. I'll go first. Winner and new United States champion, AJ Styles. Before the bell even rang, Ricochet got attacked by Gallows and Anderson. Smart booking. It was smart booking, but I also disagree with it because they didn't need that in the beginning. I don't think they did. They could have done that if Ricochet were to retain. I think it would have been more like an underdog story in the match. But it didn't really hurt Ricochet in the very beginning anyway. So, I mean, he got the momentum and built up. But I will say this, Ricochet versus AJ Styles shouldn't have had 2 prior matches on Monday Night Raw in the last month. And it makes this pay-per-view match even more prestigious if they wouldn't have had those matches on Raw.
Honestly, shit, you could have just had these guys set this pay-per-view out since the quality we've seen already in the review. They could have missed this, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
And that's what irritates me, because on Monday Night Raw, yes, they both main evented 2 Monday Night Raws in a row, and that's why this match wasn't as special as to me, the very first match that those two had on Raw.
Yes,
because
spread it out, make it matter more. I'm totally with you, Logan.
and to me that's what I don't like. I don't like seeing two guys that could be a potential WrestleMania or SummerSlam style matchup be, you know, like a Shinsuke and AJ Styles where they wrestled, what, 4 or 5 times in a row, and then Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. I mean, those matches with Joe are better than Nakamura, but if you look at Ricochet and AJ Styles, their Monday Night Raw match was better than this, and it was more anticipated because it was the first time ever. And to me, pay-per-views should mean more than a Raw match. Just
Sometimes it works having the way back in the day. Now at this point, Sami Zayn and Cesaro in NXT, having those matches so close together. The difference is you're building both those guys up at the same time, whereas these two guys are pretty much goddamn. Even though Ricochet's new, we all know what he can do, and he's like gonna be the Rey Mysterio for kids of this generation. I'm calling it. So neither one of these guys really need build up as much as those guys did in NXT. So you're right, spread it out.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed on that. Spread it out. This could have been on. They could have done the segments, and it could have been.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Because I know I'll forget this fucking comment. I feel like all Ricochet has to do to get over with young kids is do one of his parkour fucking spots, and they'll be like, "Mommy, I want a shirt." That's just kids. That's business. That's WWE. That's casual audience. I think as long as he stays healthy, man, and he's booked somewhat credibly. Even if he's coasting, even if he's phoning it in, he's going to do well financially. I think kids are going to eat that shit up the more they see Ricochet. They are.
Yeah, with his athleticism and agility. Yeah.
Exactly what happened to me when I was 12 years old in '96 and I saw Rey Mysterio for the first time. Exactly what happened to me as a kid.
And if you want a example of that, Hammers, I know you might agree with me. Remember that flip in NXT that he did to go face to face with Velveteen Dream?
Should have torn all of his muscles when he did that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, him doing that on a Monday Night Raw would easily push him to having a fan base even more. I see him as a Rey Mysterio, too. A guy that for years and years to come that the fans would be, all for in any match. And it didn't matter. It doesn't.
Well, they've already checked everything on the board for him to appeal to kids. They gave him the kick-ass entrance. They gave him the cool music. They gave him the cool gear. He just needs to fucking hone his fucking promo skills for adults to take him more seriously. That's the difference. Kids don't give a shit if you're a good promo or not. My son was obsessed with Jey Uso for 3 years. It was his favorite guy. I have no clue. And I have other friends who would one of the Usos for no reason was their kid's favorite wrestler. So it's definitely not, kids are weird.
I think for me, Ricochet, when you get that more aggressive side of Ricochet, then everybody's going to eat him up as a fan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're pushing for Ricochet now with the feud with AJ Styles in the club.
For me, I appreciate him as a grown man wrestling fan because his psychology isn't as overboard as Ospreay. So.
Yep. So
he tones it down a little bit more.
What'd you think, Hammers, before I say some comments off of YouTube?
This was a good match. Again, I'm interested and intrigued in seeing what happens next.
I am too, especially the feud with the club, because I think bringing the club back together was a smart booking. Putting AJ Styles as a heel was smart booking. What's more, I think for you Hammers, it's going to be intriguing to see who Ricochet brings to feud with the club and have
Finn Balor. It's going to be Finn Balor in a tag match. Then Balor's going to turn and join the club because I'm seeing a shit ton of rumors that they want to add members of the club. And I feel like for now, you've gone pretty much all you can go with Balor as a babyface. Test him as a heel for a while. That freshens him up again, adds more layers to his character. So when he turns babyface again, he can have more of a tweener character with an actual fucking personality. Because Finn Balor's a great worker and has a great look, but God, he's boring.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's what misses with Finn Balor for me as well. Is I don't want to just like the Demon. I also want to like Finn Balor, but Finn Balor doesn't give me a reason to.
Michael Keaton's my favorite fucking Batman because his Bruce Wayne was the most interesting. By the way, Colonel Fancy in the chat says, not to mention AJ beating him clean as a sheet in their first encounter, and also says Ricochet's, quote, all shucks personality will get him over as well. He's easily likable. He does have one of those faces where you just want to, like, kiss his cheek. Looks like a doll baby. I agree. Just like a cordial greeting, like, you know, like they do in the olden days. Just kiss him on his cheek. If Scotty Bear were here, he'd agree. He'd go full tongue.
Oh, Lord.
I wouldn't say that.
Hammers, I'm going to let you go and talk what happened in the next match. Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler. Tell Travis what the fuck happened in this long-ass match.
Yeah, so Kevin Owens won, like, within, like, 15 seconds.
Stone Cold Stunner.
Yep.
They started talking trash to each other and then Stunner. The end. That's why you missed it, Travis.
Oh, it was that bad?
Yes. Dolph Ziggler got squashed.
Yeah. No surprises, you know.
Where does Owens go from here, guys? What does he ride this as SmackDown's top babyface?
Yes. This and then also Kevin Owens cut another underrated promo about Shane McMahon and all kinds of stuff, and this is just the start of the new era Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens. And I've been saying this for a long time. Kevin Owens could become a better babyface than how great he was as a heel over the years. Pull the trigger already. Pull the trigger. And don't
that was
back.
Always, people disagree with me all the time, but that was always my favorite Kevin Steen in Ring of Honors when he was a tweener. Go ahead, because I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, pull the trigger. I mean, don't end it if another heel gets injured either, like Daniel Bryan did a few months ago. Give KO what he deserves, and he's been saying this for a long time. What I've been reading on the rumors is Kevin Owens has been asking for this babyface push for a long time because he says he thinks he can do it. And if you're that confident in being a better babyface than you was as a heel, when Kevin Owens, to me, promo-wise, was probably one of the best heels in WWE, if he can pull the trigger with being a babyface like that, I can only imagine.
It'll definitely work because he has that Dusty Rhodes everyman appeal to him. I know what I was going to say now. Whoever made this audible at the last second to turn him babyface again, you know how he just kind of just back to nothing with Sami Zayn here for a little bit? I'm so thankful for. Yeah. I'm so thankful for whoever made this call because I was just like, man, here we go again. Just him and Sami Zayn looking like two douchebags out there every week doing nothing, you know?
Yeah. What do you think, Hammers?
I was intrigued that it went this quick. But you know what?
Yeah.
Fair fucks. I mean, hey.
Imagine being me right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going this way. Alrighty.
We just had to sit through 3 fucking pointless WWE title matches now for Dolph.
Yeah, you know?
Yes.
Hanging and banging, I'm guessing.
Putting guys over, putting over the baby faces, and do you guys...
Jobbing and bobbing.
Yeah. Yep.
See you in 5 months there, Ziggler.
Yeah, stealing the show like always.
Good luck with your fucking stand-up or whatever you're doing.
There is one question before we move on, if you guys are done. Do you think Kevin Owens can be this era Stone Cold Steve Austin with his mic skills and all that?
No.
That is
I do.
Question.
You should never take Steve Austin and make him the measuring stick for anyone, because that's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Owens has it in him.
I think he could be close, but I don't think he will be the next Stone Cold.
I think for this generation, he has the most potential of getting the most organic babyface appeal right now.
Yeah. I think he can pull it off, and believe me, I think the promo skills that Kevin Owens has, that's going to be the high point for him. That's going to be his bread and butter.
And another reason why I say it's never going to be like a Steve Austin again, because it's going to be another, like, okay, say we're riding this out now and they push him to the moon. Eventually, he's going to have to go in there with another top babyface, like a Roman or somebody like that, right? Okay, well, here's the problem. This is why it's different from Steve Austin. Back then, man, woman, child, dog, cat, didn't matter. Everyone loved Steve Austin. Now when this shit happens, when you go babyface and babyface with an organic Daniel Bryan or CM Punk, it's a bunch of grown men cheering Owens during the match, and women and children are going to cheer Roman during the match. That's just how it is. That's why it's corporate wrestling. That's why it's different. I feel like, if he's in there against like a shitty heel, he's going to get the women, children, and men and shit all in his corner, but it just depends who he's in there with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think there was something that came to my mind, but I think I'm going to talk about it in the next match. I have something different in my head that's coming about.
We're so close. I'm so proud of us. We're almost done.
I know. I guess we can move on to the WWE Championship match. Kofi Kingston defending against Samoa Joe. Who wants to go first? While I use the restroom.
I give up. I wash my hands. He's probably going to get it at SummerSlam now, but man, I'm done being baited in, being just cock slapped in the face about Joe winning a belt that means something.
Yeah, it's I don't even know how else to say it. It's just we're so close, and then boom goes the dynamite. Like,
yep.
we're like, it's like almost like a cock tease where they're just like nibble. You're close to it happening, and then it's like, nope, we're just slip this under the rug.
I'm not trying to come off like an entitled fucking mark about it either, but this is Samoa fucking Joe. This was a guy who back in the day was a monster who could just work any style, and man, I would rather they have squashed him at this point than to just keep teasing it so close. It's kind of like if you're into a sports team, Die Hard, and they get all the way to the Super Bowl and they lose. I would rather lose in the first round of the playoffs,
Yeah. We're so damn close to getting it, and then it's just like, nope.
How can Styles and Joe just be so parallel right now in different ways, like with where they're, because essentially they're the same guy. If you think they came up they both made their name working each other in TNA first. They both had the same resume essentially, Japan, all that shit. What's the difference? Is it the body? Is it really Vince and his body issues? What the fuck is it? Why are they so afraid to put a goddamn top title on Samoa Joe, Logan? What is it? You tell us.
See. Okay, AJ Styles can talk.
Is it the hair? Is it the fucking hair he's wearing now? What is it?
The only thing that I can think of is Samoa Joe's history with injuries.
Okay, I can see that.
Not injuring people, but no, I'm saying like he has been out a lot. In the last 2 years due to injury. That's the only thing I can think of. Because Samoa Joe, like you said, he's parallel to AJ Styles. He has basically got the same resume. He can talk. Oh boy, can he talk.
Okay. So if they're worried about the injuries, why did they keep giving him all those fucking rematches with Styles then?
And let's be honest, the more and more that they cock tease this, the more and more I think when he does win it, a lot of people will be even more excited about it.
But to a certain point, we just got done talking about Dolph Ziggler. I mean,
true, but just think about it. Okay, they've cock teased this title on Samoa Joe how many times now? A lot.
Yeah.
and he's chasing and chasing, and he keeps failing. And then to me, when he does finally win it, it's gonna be a shocker, and it's gonna be one of those moments where you're like, holy shit! All the times that he's failed, and he finally accomplishes it, I got more respect for Samoa Joe.
Yeah. I
Only
mean, the
thing I can
match.
see.
The match itself was good. Something fell off though. Again, it was all right. You know, at this point, it's match 9. Also,
Yeah, and burned retinas. I'm gonna keep calling it that because it's a lot better. Joe's actual title run will mean less than nothing now. He will win it, but the aura is gone.
it's dangerously close to that.
Yeah, it's very dangerous close. It's so close.
Although anything can happen in the WWF, pal.
It's such good shit, pal.
And he never cussed, Loki. Jesus. What did you think of this, Hammers?
This puts into place an idea that I think Kofi and Big E will have a match at SummerSlam. I think they're gonna start the dissension at SummerSlam where Big E kind of gets the opportunity to wrestle Kofi, and the two have a great match at SummerSlam, but Big E won't have the big win. And then they kind of push to Big E being kind of more heelish in the New Day's matches, and they start to bring up heel tensions with Big E and make him more into like a Scott Steiner parody of just big old muscles and just is almost incomprehensible.
The Cleopatra chainmail head thing, bring it back.
Well, make it something different than that, but just big, muscly guy who is just big and arrogant.
What if it was that?
That's
What if they turned him and that was their grand scheme all along, like to just make him big Papa Pump, like dyes goatee, just fucking bring out Petey Williams too. And
Make it like Scottie Pippen, or not Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen.
No. Make it more Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. With just sign Sonny Kiss too. Make them a team.
Listen, we don't need to start bringing her back in here, okay?
Yeah, God forbid you bring up Sonny Kiss on a podcast. I don't want to get you in trouble, Logan. Shout out to Jim Cornette.
Well,
we don't need to bring that up.
yeah.
Let's move it on, please. My bad. Match 10 coming out.
One thing I was gonna say is, if Adam Cole was an NXT champion, this would have been a really intriguing idea to bring the Undisputed Era up and feud with the New Day, as all of them have the champions. Just saying.
Oh, before we get to 10, this 30 seconds on this. How fucking awful was that Street Profits bullshit backstage? How terrible was that? Holy shit. Now, I know that's way earlier in the show, but I just remembered that.
I forgot about it because it was not that good.
Anyway, awful. Avoid it at all costs if you're listening to this.
Anyways, the main event of Extreme Rules WWE Universal Championship and the Raw Women's Championship on the line. Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch defending against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in an Extreme Rules intergender tag team match. What do you guys think?
Jesus
Rules.
Christ.
Wasn't intergender.
I don't know, I was just saying because of what happened during the match.
Where do we begin, man? Hammers? Jesus.
So, should I just reference Bully Ray here really quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so Bully Ray put out a tweet suggesting the idea of maybe having the title change in a different way. And I certainly agree with it, but there's maybe a single flaw with that idea. I really, really wished that Brock did to Seth Rollins that Seth Rollins did to Brock. I really did. I really wanted to see it happen.
Punch him in the dick.
Well, not that, but have it be where Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar comes out mid-match and just pins Seth Rollins. And then have that, and then have Sasha Banks come out with him. And have it be kind of Paul enticing her with the chance of getting the Raw Women's title easy, without even laying a hand on anybody. Just giving her the opportune chance to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here is a golden opportunity. Please take this and be Brock's partner, and you get a free title. You get a free title with this. Like, it's just like, it's right there. Just all you need to do is just take it, and you're good.
Just sit on it.
Yeah, it's. God, I wish they did that, because then you have a brand new heel that Becky could go after, easy. Like, you don't need to do anything else.
So much history with those two. It'd be cheap heat. It would work, definitely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Bully Ray is smart.
Smart son of a bitch, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely. There's two things I want to say. Burn Retina says, if Kofi were to go one-on-one with Big E, he would have had a 33 and third chance of winning.
Those fat asses.
And number two, I hope everybody loves my pictures on YouTube once again.
You rascal.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. This match felt like it was in slow motion for me. Even the high spots, the table spot, felt like it was all in slow motion. Man, I don't know if it was me. I had a long day or what it was.
Probably just exhausted from 3.5 to 4 hour show.
I loved, and this is going to make me sound like a fucking asshole, I loved the end of day spot on Becky Lynch. I didn't see it coming. It got me to look up from my phone real fucking fast. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely.
That made him such a better heel when he did that. That fucking old school 1970s shit, just hitting women, fucking,
just start smacking women around, kicking them on the ground, the usual stuff.
Jesus Christ, there was an angle with Dusty Rhodes way back in the day where, like, Kevin Sullivan literally took, like, pen ink and threw it in his sister's eyes at a press conference. Just, blinded women, that's how he got over.
Yeah,
Fuck.
It would have been even better with the Baron Corbin picture that I put up.
I'm not as salty about the Brock shit as most people. My problem was, by the end of this match with Rollins, we finally got to see another side of Rollins' character, and it was refreshing. And I kind of feel just shoehorning Brock in at the end of this kind of just drifted it away from that a little bit for me. I took away from that, and now it's all about Brock, and that's fine. But, man, I thought we were getting a little progress with the Rollins character for a second. Now I feel like it's just going to be fucking autopilot, another Rollins and Brock program, I guess.
Yeah, and this match I wasn't really looking forward to. I didn't like the storyline.
God. Have they made any fucking storyline cringier than these two as a couple in the past 5 years besides, like, the Women's Revolution? Have they? Because, God, you know what? I don't know if it was a shoot on the pre-show, but I was loving what Sam Roberts was saying about this. I tweeted out, like, he was on point. He was speaking for all of us.
Yeah,
Brett.
yeah.
Bret Hart.
Sam Roberts, the homeless male Wendy's chick.
It's Ronald McDonald on a meth binge.
Yeah.
Oh shit! And I just didn't like the fact that this match was indeed the main event. There were so many better matches that could have been the main event. Baron Corbin, I get it. He's a true heel. He gets true heel heat. But I'll agree with that. But I also get heat. He also gets heat from not being a main event guy in my eyes.
Is his character at this point kind of like the Sinister Minister? Is he like a satanic nightclub owner? Like he's like like he took a wholesome. No, I'm serious. I'm fucking serious. Because if it is, I'm kind of on board for that. Make it more fucking evil and lusty, and Sean O'Hara.
Yeah, I mean he does.
He's sleazy looking. It works.
Yeah, and he looks like he's a bouncer for a fucking male strip club or something.
I mean, you take it in. He took like the most wholesome. I mean, the most ladylike fucking Christian right-wing character they have, and he converted her to Satanism just like that.
Just like that. I mean, like Bern
now
Retner
she's writing fucking men's names on her fucking twat on her entrance.
Hammers, I know you're gonna say something.
Kevin Dunn, you beautiful bastard!
You
right up her hole. Right up her hole. Like you zoomed in on it and then you zoomed out right on her hole.
God,
wow.
There were so many camels out today.
Exactly. Wow.
Thank you for that screenshot. Yeah, I'm serious. Thank you for that, Kevin Dunn.
Yes,
and you're like 40 years in that company. That's the best thing you've ever done. Ever.
Maybe one other thing, but I won't say anything else.
But like Bern Retner said, Baron actually got some real heat, and like I actually agree with this too. Rollins showed some passion for a change. I mean, I do got a comment and a question. If the rumors are true that Vince McMahon likes Baron Corbin's look, then Vince has really lost his touch. If he really thinks that Baron Corbin is a main event face, like not as a face, but I'm saying like his face, him being good looking, liking his looks that much, then he's really lost it altogether.
I think the dirt sheets were really bored that day, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, Vince, that's why he pushes anyone, though, because he's always said that in any interview. You can be the worst worker in the world or the best. The money is in your face in that company where you make, we make movies.
And Seth Rollins could have been the face of Monday nights. And Becky Lynch is, to me, slowly, she's losing steam fast as the Raw Women's Championship. And the reason why is because they put her in this boyfriend-girlfriend storyline with Seth Rollins. They both deserve a lot better than a feud like this. Especially after, just think about it, guys. Okay? Seth Rollins.
I don't want to think about it.
Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar to win the Universal Championship. So the very first feud was against Lesnar. The second one was defending the title that he won against Lesnar against AJ Styles. And then you truly step down 2 rungs on the ladder and you feud with Baron Corbin.
Is it a step down? I mean,
it is. You look at who he beat, Lesnar and Styles, and then you put him in a feud with Baron Corbin. To me, it was predictable. It was predictable, the finish, because did any of us see or actually believe that Seth Rollins could or would have lost the belt to Baron Corbin tonight?
For me, it's fine, because Hulk Hogan, when he had the title, and I know what a dated reference, right? But it's timeless in a way, so bear with me. He didn't always, every title match wasn't always an Andre or Randy Savage. Eventually, he'd defend against like a one-man gang or a Bad News Brown, a mid-upper heel who could be taken serious, but you knew he wasn't going to win it. it was a transitional title fucking defense, in my opinion. It was a gimmick match. It was, I was fine with it. They can't all be dream matches because when you do that, you desensitize people.
I get that. I'm not asking for a dream match. I'm asking for somebody that's actually more credible than a Baron Corbin.
At this point, now what we know how they book the matches on the card, I'm glad it wasn't a higher level because we were burnt out anyway. It wouldn't have meant as much.
That's true, but then
maybe that's why they did it because they knew how strong their undercard was on this.
Yeah, and then we got Brock Lesnar cashing in. Hammers, what did you think of that after the match?
Again, if I had my way, I would have had just, I don't know, maybe even a woman from NXT. Like I would have loved to have seen Sasha Baszler come out with Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah,
and those two go and get the titles. Like you give kind of her a chance to just be noticed by everyone out there, and boom, you got the perfect person for the crowd.
Or fucking light bulb. Thank you, Hammers. Fuck the Kabuki Warriors. You take Asuka and you heal her and you make her the female Brock. There you go.
Could
Who cares about
I'm not gonna say no to that.
No, I'm not either. I mean,
make Paul Heyman speak for her. Since you're so worried about her fucking broken English and blah blah blah, easy fix. Make her relevant again.
Yeah.
Because are you guys stoked about the Kabuki Warriors? Let's be honest.
No.
I mean, yes, they're both super talented.
I'm not
women.
even. I don't give a shit about the women's tag team champions anymore.
I haven't even watched wrestling in a while, so
there you go.
I mean, I was so happy that the Iconics won the tag team champions, and then just nothing. But I get it. Brock Lesnar makes WWE money, but do we really care about another part-time reign? I don't give a shit about seeing this again and again and again. It's really frustrating to know that the Universal Championship won't be on weekly television, and Vince McMahon is making the Universal Championship not worth having or caring about going forward. So
for me, though, this time with Brock, I'm not as salty or pissed, like I said, because it feels different. I feel like this is a transitional one with Brock to get a different direction for that belt.
But then who would you put it on?
I would say Balor, but that's what I'm saying. They put themselves in these fucking corners and their dumb wild card bullshit, and you just confuse the fans. That's always a great idea, right? Fucking.
If they really, really want to book the Monster Among Men back up to where he was,
too soon. They're just now fixing him, getting him off life support.
I don't know. I mean, there's really nobody else besides Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman at this point. I mean, do we really want to see another Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar?
I mean, this is bold, okay? This is fucking bold, and this kind of goes against what we were saying with the slow build with Ricochet. But let's be real. On paper, who's way more easy to take? Fucking Aleister Black or Ricochet. You could just blind people and make Aleister Black and Brock for the title at SummerSlam. Holy shit.
Oh, shoo, that would be...
You want to rocket strap him? Fucking do it.
I mean...
He's believable. It would fucking work that soon with Aleister Black, I feel like.
I mean, the only other dude that we have not mentioned at all, but I don't think they're going to do it, is pull the trigger on Drew McIntyre.
You'd have to babyface him, and how would that make sense at this point?
You completely turn on Shane McMahon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There you go.
I see people tweeting it all the time. Shane is so unbearable. Well, they purposely done it this way. That's what they're going for, people.
Yeah, you make Shane blame Drew Gulak for his loss, and then you give it like 3 weeks, and then he just goes straight after Shane, and then let's say he goes to Raw the next Monday and asks for, I don't know, a shot at Brock Lesnar.
He pulls Ospreay and he goes, I'm alive.
I could just see a random Claymore
To Brock Lesnar on a show.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. You don't even think Drew McIntyre's gonna be on the show, and Drew McIntyre just randomly hits a Claymore kick.
I feel like the casual fan who doesn't know any better want to like Drew McIntyre. I feel like he has a cool look. He looks like he could beat your fucking ass. I feel like the casual fan want to get behind him, and I think it would work.
ICW his ass.
Don't give him a mic that much. Like, we've learned from other indies.
And like Burned Retina says, managers need to be a thing again. I just miss managers. And that's why, for example, I'm not doing a quick plug, but FOW. I have tons of managers on there. I enjoy managers. It really helps the talent out in the long run. And he also says, I still have my fingers crossed for a legit Cesaro push. Or is he on SmackDown? He's on SmackDown. I don't see them pulling that trigger against Lesnar, especially losing to Black.
I also have it here, Logan, on good word after we cross some T's and dot some I's, that Sir Oliver Humperdinck is in talks to be coming in with a lucrative Hibiki Pro contract.
Just
saying.
You heard it here first.
Spoilers.
But I mean, I see Travis is not so salty about the Lesnar thing. I am salty. And I think it's
some bitch.
I'm salty because I want to care about the Universal Champion. And
I think it's because of Boombox Brock. I think that's why I'm not that salty. Made me fall in love with the Lesnar character all over again. I'm just kidding. I was super pissed at the Money in the Bank one. For one, I was like, man, these guys just fucking killed themselves. Like, that was kind of bullshit. Not trying to be a white knight about it, but that was kind of bullshit to do that to those guys. That's why I was salty about that one. This was, it's time to get it off Rollins. They need to do something with them because they're making him unbearable.
Well, I was gonna say earlier in the night when we talked about Kofi Kingston, I said it. I was gonna say it. We don't need two baby faces holding both of the main champions.
Yeah, it's time for a babyface to chase again, and that was the right call.
Yeah. But to me, if I got the opportunity to book what heel should have been taking the title, it would have been Samoa Joe and not Lesnar.
Look, and you know what, guys, to wrap this all up, getting towards the end of it here, that's one thing. People are so hypocritical, I see. You got to give it to WWE. They gave everyone what they wanted at WrestleMania this year. Pretty much the majority of people. They gave the belt to everybody the fans fucking pandered and whined about, right? And it's not like they gave them shitty reigns. Some of them still have the fucking belts. I mean, in this day and age, going 5 months after WrestleMania or 4 months is goddamn Bruno Sammartino's streak.
Mm-hmm. And Kofi Kingston has...
They've stuck to their guns, man, about kind of listening to the fans on certain aspects, but people are just petty, and they're just... It is what it is. It's... Mm-hmm. You got to remember, too, you can't always blame the pissed off marks. It's just the day and age we're in, the accessibility, the attention spans. You just cannot book wrestling like you did in the territory days, brother. Or any of that shit, Jack.
Brother. Brother.
But,
oh, man.
Any last words, Hammers?
Yeah. Overall, decent show, I would say.
Okay. It was decent. If we had to give them a grade, A, B, C, D, or F, what would you give it, this show tonight?
Since this is the first time I'm watching these guys again in like forever, give them a solid B. Solid B.
And did you prefer this or Fight for the Fallen this weekend in wrestling?
Ooh,
I enjoyed both.
I still haven't watched the last
Can't
two
do
matches.
that. You can't sit on that fence, Myers.
Oh no, I got to be like everyone else and pick a side. I forgot.
I'm not saying that, but just which show did you prefer? You don't gotta pick a fucking side.
I'm just throwing shots at some of the other fans who think that you
Yeah,
have to pick a side.
it's so dumb.
Marks.
It's so dumb.
You can't be just all about loving
That's
wrestling
like-
in general.
That's like the video game shit when people are like, "Oh no, I only play Sony." Well, then you're missing out because I play fucking everything. So see ya.
Yeah,
Bye, bitch.
totally
Bye.
agree. To be honest with you, there was some things I didn't like about AEW, and there was some really good stuff I liked. And that's pretty much with this tonight. So I liked Extreme Rules better.
I liked Extreme Rules better too, and that's not to slight last night's AEW show. I thought it was a fine show. I love the presentation. I feel like all wrestling shows should like come from opera houses now because that looked badass.
Yes, it really did. It was different. It was very different.
It still feels fucking. It still feels so indie. I know that's fucking generic to say, but it needs some fine tuning. WWE just, and yes, way more money and all that shit for now. Just comes off more credible. The guys in WWE in a ring, they don't look like they're at a fucking goddamn. God, I sound like Cornette right now. Jesus Christ, they don't. You know what I mean? I don't. It's bush league.
Yeah.
A lot of it is just fuck. Like, I think Sammy Guevara can work, but man, it's. Ugh. It looks like Rad Zero. Actually. Shout out to Rad Zero.
I think the true test, and I think this is a good way to wrap this up. The true test is going to be next month. All Out versus SummerSlam. You know, Toronto, NXT TakeOver in Toronto. It's really going to... Next month is going to be a huge month for wrestling. And I think the true test is to see who will put off a better show. SummerSlam, NXT TakeOver versus AEW's All Out.
It's always NXT. That's already done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
NXT usually always outperforms itself.
I mean,
I'll tell you what, honorable mention to Slammiversary. I actually watched the first TNA pay-per-view forever. Solid show.
Oh yeah.
Solid.
Brian Cage and Mike
Beautifully
Elgin
done.
was shockingly really good. I saw the highlights. It was... Wow. Brian Cage is so underrated, I will say that.
And if I have to watch intergender wrestling, I was alright with the way it was done in that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But that we went all out for tonight. If you get my drift on that one.
We got every drop out of this one.
Yes, we did. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap
Whoa,
this thing
whoa,
up.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh,
I haven't said my piece yet.
Go ahead.
I didn't get to grade the show either, Logan, so
My bad.
I'll let you grade a biggie.
I'll give it a B. If anything, I feel like, and people are like, yeah, they're not really in control. They're not really helping book, and it's a work. I feel like since the announcement of Heyman and Bischoff, the last 2 weeks have been refreshing as hell with WWE. It's very noticeable, the pacing of shows. And I think this was a very refreshing pay-per-view to watch. Solid, man, very few complaints, and that's rare with one of the main roster pay-per-views this day and age. And that's all I can ask. So, solid B. Solid B.
I gave it a solid B2, and AEW I'm giving a B minus.
I'm with you. Just a notch. It was, for what it was, man, for a new company, it was a fine show. It's just, it's kind of unfair for AEW to compare themselves. And that's what I'm saying earlier. They're shooting themselves in the foot. Stop saying the words WWE, because then people are going to just automatically compare it and then notice the night and day differences in most of the important areas. Don't do that.
I agree. And I think WWE's kickoff shows, I think that's why they may have put Shinsuke and Nakamura and Balor on the kickoff show, because they really wanted a good match to go up against, a kickoff pre-show like what AEW does. I think that was why they put Balor and Nakamura on there. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna half-ass this a little bit.
Oh shit.
I know. Sorry, but
Are you sure it's not Scotty Bear?
I'm
God, you're a slave driver, Logan. Jesus.
I'm gonna say this, and I truly mean this. I think the pre-show for WWE was better
Me too.
than AEW's,
I was going to say that too. That's so funny you just said that.
and I think WWE's show was better than AEW's, but I think the storytelling of AEW's is better than WWE's.
Oh, I agree so much.
And you know what? Hot off the presses. You know who I'm coming around on, even though he does dumbass, stupid shit that he's going to end up paralyzed? I really am starting to like Darby Allin. I think he's got a Jeff Hardy-esque aura about him.
Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He just needs to stop trying to kill himself for no reason, maybe. That might...
Oh yeah.
There's so much talent in AEW that could really be stars.
MJF, man. Fucking future of the business.
Yes,
The next Ric Flair over here.
he to me legit
Tearing it up in MLW. I don't know if you watch any of that. Him and Alex. What's his name? Alexander's Hammerstein or something?
Hammerstone.
Hammerstone,
Beautiful
that
work.
guy. There's like
Beautiful
Shane
work.
Douglas all juiced up on roids is who he reminds me of.
Yes.
Or like Mordecai without the costume.
Or Kevin Thorne without the vampire look.
Is it Kevin Thorne? No, it's Alexander Hammerstone. That guy's someone to keep on your radar.
Yes.
For real.
There's a lot, but Hammers keep going.
Yeah, that's it. I think
That's it.
I think in the next few months, when AEW gets their TV going, it's going to be very interesting to see how WWE kind of counteracts it a little bit and see if they even change like they did with WCW, or if they keep stagnant like they did with TNA.
The current rumor going around is AEW's going to be debuting on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock to 11 on TNT, and WWE is going to counteract that with making NXT 2 hours and starting at 9 o'clock.
Which is going to be... That is going to be... I'm already looking at that as a struggle for Triple H. Going from 1 hour to 2 hours like that.
Plus, let's be honest, NXT, I never watch it when it airs live. New episodes, I always catch it on demand. So who gives a shit if it's head-to-head? I can just watch it later.
Yeah, and it's still going to be even better, 2 hours, 1 hour,
Yeah.
you know. But, like I said, at the end of the day, the true test is next month, in my opinion. And I don't like the fact that I think WWE jumped the gun on booking Blackpool for NXT UK, the next pay-per-view. Because New Japan's going to be in the same area. And a couple other wrestling events are in the same area, and they're having issues selling tickets.
I wish in a way I disagree on the storytelling thing, respectfully on AEW, because I feel like there's a lot of top guys in that company that have no direction right now. Like, what the fuck are the Young Bucks going to do? Are they going to be in the tournament for the title? Are they just
they're going to go feud with what's their faces?
Lucha Bros in a ladder match.
Yeah, they're going to be facing off against the Lucha Bros
In a ladder match.
for a belt?
Yeah, for the AAA belts.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I think they're not going to. I think the bigger guys like that are not going to be going immediately for the bigger belts. I think they're going to wait a little bit. And
Well, yeah, Moxley and Omega. That doesn't even at all.
Who's the tag team that won the triple threat tag team match last night against the
The Dark Order. Who, if they didn't have that gimmick, I would like those guys as a team.
well, PWG 2014. I'm already going to tell you that. They were originally known as the Super Smash Bros. And those two guys did incredible stuff in PWG.
Yeah, the fucking fatality is fucking amazing.
and they did some great stuff in Chikara as well, back in like 1999 or like 2000s, early 2000s.
And it's so crazy, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Like, you see the pictures, like Jungle Boy was like a little kid when they first started, like literally like 11 years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who was the little? Was that a
Marco Stunt.
little kid that did the Hurricanrana or the
No,
Frankenstein?
he's like a 22-year-old man. That's a grown man. Look.
That's a grown man. That shit looks like a 16-year-old kid or like a
That's
12-year-old
gimmick.
kid.
Killing the gimmick, brother. What's going on, man?
That's crazy. Yeah, Luchasaurus is so underrated, like hell. I think that's probably one of the most interested parts of AEW for me is watching Luchasaurus and what he's gonna do.
He used to be signed. They fucking missed the boat on him. Then Lucha Underground took him, and now here we are.
Yep, here we are. Gonna be awesome, but I guess it's time to wrap things up for this show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Hammers, Travis, thanks for coming on once again, and go ahead and plug your shit, and not like that, literally, but...
First of all, that's gross. Second of all, thank you guys for having me. As always, on Twitter at the HibickiTMD. HibickiTMD on YouTube. I'm actually going to hop off here in a little bit and go watch Bash at the Beach 1995, which is our next retro review on Union Smack, which you can catch on the channel. Never Drew a Dime featuring the Dungeon of Doom. Coming this week with special guests, Optic Decay, the Reset Button, all the goodness, Hibiki Pro, Hibiki Honors, Sunset Stripped, everything in between. Thank you, guys.
Hammers.
Bash at the Beach. Bash at the Beach 95. Wow.
We hate ourselves.
You legit hate yourselves, don't you? Are you?
It was outside. It was an outside show. That means it's fun by default.
I'm about to go and watch it too now because now I feel like I gotta put myself in that situation now.
You'll just not want to be my friend anymore, probably, if you go. And you know what? It's not as bad as like Fade 94.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't worry, Travis. I'm gonna watch it. I got my recliner. I'll recline up. I'll put my blanket on. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep.
I hope you're a big Poffo family fan. That's all I'm saying.
Can I ask this one question though?
Go ahead.
Trav, are you going to watch the corresponding episode of
Nitro?
No, not Nitro. Of what's it called?
Baywatch
Yes.
with Vader.
Yes.
Is it on if it's on YouTube, yeah, I'll find it. You know what? That could be like a B-side review, maybe, if we have enough time tomorrow or Tuesday to record.
Because those two things walk hand in hand.
Even better idea. You and Kuzan review that episode, and that'll coincide with our release of our episode, and we kind of just give them a bukkake of 95 all over the YouTubes.
Sure, let me get Kuz on here in the next 24 hours and watch Baywatch together. That's really going to be...
No, I got to edit it, so with my fucking procrastinating ass, you got at least a week and a half, so...
Most likely it'll take a month for me, so...
You feel me, then. Oh, I do want to mention this. Check us out, our online store, unionsmack.bigcartel.com, before Matt, my co-host, kills me to get his Undertaker book. All the merch, the first official ever Reset Button t-shirt is now available. Everything's on sale right now in the store. Check it out. Also, check out Matt's tremendous work he's been doing, the Union Smack Hall of Fame brand new series. We just honored gentleman Chris Adams. Next is the exotic Adrian Street, which Matt, it's going back to him. This one's him inducting him this time, so make sure to catch that coming up.
Cannot wait. And Matt's been talking to me about getting me a book. I can't wait.
I think that's all I got. Pretty sure that's it.
All right, good. I'm exhausted. We're all exhausted. But Hammers, go ahead and one last time tell everybody where they can check you out.
Me. You can find me on Twitter at Hammers at Hell. You could also try to find me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, but you can't because you got them
Fitnesses! Yes!
I've never heard Travis this excited for somebody to say his
That's
fucking
my
punchline.
favorite. That's my favorite catchphrase is when he does that. My favorite catchphrase on all YouTube.
And I should give a winky. YouTube K&H Show. You can try to find that as well, but you can't. And
because you don't have a good waist.
And subtle maybe nod towards the future of future T-shirts, possibly.
Oh yeah.
You may or may not find some possible T-shirts in the near future.
Hell yeah.
I didn't say anything,
Nope.
but there may be some T-shirts in the near future.
I feel like Jungle Boy could be the next inductee in the Perfect Waist Club. By the way.
Oh, that's a thing for Kuzan.
That's Kuzan's gimmick.
I'm trying to give him a cheap plug. That's what I said.
Yeah. Cheap plug to Kuzan.
Cheap as a plugs. Only costs you less than half a cent.
Cheap as Bob Sparkplug Holland.
Cost you $250,000 in Sudan, but you know.
Or child support.
Yeah, that too.
But all in all, it's been a great night. Check out the latest episode of Future Wrestling right there on YouTube. Episode 11 will be coming out next week on Thursday morning or Thursday evening. The road to Fatal 4-Way is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. 2 more episodes until the pay-per-view with Scotty Bear and Wild Wayne Bates on commentary, and